Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 366. We got the music, we got the intro card there. Cuts all right on time. It's a good start to the night. Everything is moving. It's rolling. Let's make sure though. I'm gonna go around here and make sure no one's muted. We're gonna start with Ryan. Ryan, how we doing?
Doing well. How you doing?
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, cool. We were trying to figure out if people were muting or what was happening. I thought we were going to catch somebody. It's good to have Ryan back, though. He's off of his ridiculously difficult video to make because he was playing PlayStation 3 online this year, just a few weeks ago. So it is good to have you back, Ryan. How'd that go anyway?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Checked out a lot of lobbies, a lot of games. It's always one of those things where you got to cut a lot of footage, but for the most part, I think I got a solid collection of, what's going on with the PlayStation 3 community.
Was there any game that like shocked you that people were still playing?
No, not really. There's always like a niche for everything, I guess.
No, I figure it'd be something like I assume like Skate 3 is an obvious one. People still play that a lot because it's not backwards compatible, obviously, on like the newer PlayStation. But like Call of Duty, I don't know. Was there one you went on and it was like real easy to find a game?
Well, you know what? Actually, and this didn't make it in the final video, I checked Advanced Warfare.
Oh,
because that was one Call. Yeah, I didn't check that Call of Duty yet, and that one's on PS3. It's like the second to last Call of Duty on the system, and I like couldn't get into a game. I'm like, this is kind of a recent Call of Duty. Like nobody's playing this. I thought, wait, is this the one people don't like? So I don't know. It took a while. Like I finally got into a match, and it seemed like there were only maybe 20, 30 people playing on a Saturday night. That was surprising.
I remember being okay with it. You said Advanced Warfare?
It was Advanced. The one where, it's like you can jump and stuff.
It's not like Infinite. Infinite was the one that everyone got like really annoyed. Advanced, I remember I was okay with. I don't think it was very memorable, but I didn't like hate it or anything. But I mean, I feel like you get Call of Duty on the PlayStation 3, you're probably going for like Black Ops 2 right away.
Well, Black Ops 2 is like plagued with cheaters. I didn't even bother looking at it this year.
I bet. Yeah, I could absolutely see that one.
I just skipped it.
Imagine cheating in a game like that where there's like 30 people online playing. Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to get out of that,
but your video's up, checking it out. So people need to go check out Ryan's video for the PlayStation 3 online stuff. Really cool to see. The last system's left that has free online at this point. So
still operational. Store still going, online still going, servers are coming back. PlayStation 3 supremacy, baby.
I haven't looked at that store in a long time. Are you doing a video to check that store out before it's like gone?
I did that like a year and a half ago. But what's so funny about that is if you go on the store now, there's still like remnants of the back end of what Sony does on PS4 and 5 now. So certain store pages, if it's a PS4 game that gets, I guess that existed on PS3, the metadata is changed. So if you go to like something like Journey, now the Journey page says to play this game on your PlayStation 5, ensure that you're on the latest system software. And I'm like, well, I'm on PlayStation 3, so clearly that overwritten the metadata for the store page.
I know that like the 360 storefront shutting down soon. I thought about going back like the last week that it's open just to get like a snapshot in a video of it, like just page through it and stuff just to see, because when it's gone, it's gone. And I think it's kind of neat to have at least a video of some kind that it gives you a look at the store before it's completely wiped. So I might look at that, but that made me think about like the PS3 as well. So I assume you would be doing that probably right before it goes down completely.
Oh yeah, probably.
Cool.
Just checking it one last time.
Let's go over here to Josie. Josie, what with us tonight?
Yes, happy to be here. I haven't been doing much gaming this week, to be honest, other than when I whooped MVG's ass in Boomer vs. Zoomer, which you guys can all watch right now live on the channel. Yeah, that, and then we played a couple retro games and stuff like that. But I've been busy. So
secured a copy of 1,000 Year Door with that, huh?
Yes, I did. Free copy of 1,000. I'm very excited about it. You can
be buying all your games.
I know. I think we got to do it every single month so I can make sure I'm covered. No. I don't know. We got to play like Mario Kart 64 or something. That was the idea.
Oh,
next time it's Mario Kart 64.
That should be one that he should do very well at. We'll see.
We will see. I'm kind of insane at the SNES one. So I don't know if the translation is there, but
people don't. I think the one that people dislike the most out of it is probably the Game Boy Advance Mario Kart.
Yes, I don't understand that. I kind of like that one. I used to play on my calculator in high school.
Your calculator? Interesting. Okay. We played TI-83 Plus. We played games where you would trade drugs back and forth. That's very different when you're playing Mario Kart. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
sorry. I just want to shout out RGT's talking about it right now. We did Battle of the Sexes in Game and Talk. Celia and I played against Nate and RGT. That'll be up on Wednesday. This is a fun video. A lot of sex.
Really shouting out from the chat. My gosh.
I'll be honest.
He did say he was working out and watching playoff basketball. And
RGT.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's trolling me, but hey, if he's working out, go for it, Sean. Good for you. Good for you. Go do that. Let's go over here to OJ. Holding up the pre-show. Good to have OJ here with us tonight.
Good pre-show. Feeling pretty good. Shout outs to everybody. Shout outs to the people that were in my DMs telling me about all sorts of stuff. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. Getting angry about trophies and all that. Appreciate all you guys.
They're still after you, man. Jeez.
Yeah, but I mean, I know that they're a bunch of weirdos and racists anyway, so it's just a bunch of racist stuff. So, I mean, that's just kind of how these people are, and just making up stuff about like my wife and things, just kind of weirdo nonsense. But it's all good, man. I'm still here. Ryan's here. Hey, Ryan, I made a joke about trophies the other day about people with trophies.
Let's hear it.
They said it to your face, so I'm going to go ahead and say I made a joke, okay, about trophies, about people who collect trophies all day and how they have no girlfriends and they're all this and that. It was a joke. I should have said maidenless. So people are all maidenless. They never get with girls. So I'm going after the platinum trophy in Stellar Blade. So I will divorce my wife very soon here. So I mean, like,
okay.
It's
I made a joke, OJ, that you would after all of that, you would just randomly get the platinum trophy in Stellar Blade by accident and just have an epiphany, like just inward immediately after that.
You know what it is? Right now. They're just jealous of your multiple amazing, beautiful houses. I would be too. I mean, this place looks nice. I don't know. When'd you buy this one?
This one, I mean, we out here.
It's been around, yeah.
We out here, like
property management. I feel you.
It happens, I've been working on a few things here and there.
I like it.
But no, seriously, I love the Spawncast viewers, man. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being awesome. Seriously, I love it. The messages were great.
Hey, interactions are interaction. They're thinking about you.
It's all good. Well, I mean, one guy was like, "Hey, he was definitely saying he's going to fight me. He's going to catch me slacking at too many games." So yeah.
People like that come to too many games. That's really crazy.
No, he wouldn't tell me. No, he's not coming. He said he's going to be in Scott the Waz's line. He's like, I'm going to go watch a real YouTuber. I'm like, bitch, I do not care who you are. You're a complete weirdo, dude.
No, Josie, the people you meet at too many games are nice.
Yes,
okay. They're everyone's cool. So we don't worry about that.
Everyone they don't go there. I mean, there was a few people that I knew for a fact didn't like me, and they beelined it straight to somebody else on the line. When I went last time, but for the most part, everybody was cool. Which is cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a good time. But good to have everyone here tonight. We do have actually some interesting stuff to go over, which does include the Helldivers 2 discourse that has gone next level. Apparently, even Valve and Steam is getting involved with this whole thing. So we'll go over some of that. We do have the Xbox Summer Games Showcase, which was detailed a bit further, and they left some mystery with apparently a redacted game. Who knows what that is? Nintendo filed there was a rating that was posted for Nintendo World Championships. We had a Starfield update, Square Enix in trouble, and I did want to bring up the console sales because it does seem like some things are maybe slowing down a bit in the US when it comes to that. I do want to give a shout out, though, of course, to the Patreon Spawncast network. I was talking with Ryan, and I had mentioned this previously, but Ryan and I are going to be starting up a podcast here in a bit, where we are going to be covering PlayStation. We're still coming up with the name. The name is the thing that's always the hardest part about these, and that's what we're working through right now, okay? The topics, all that stuff, conversation, that should be easy for us because we already research a lot of the news anyway, so it should be pretty easy to the current event stuff. But that's the sticking point right now, right, Ryan, is figuring out the name.
Do you have any ideas so far?
I don't want it to be fully on me. I just want to bounce back ideas before we settle on something.
Yeah, the name thing. Yeah, the naming thing is always that's the hard part is figuring it out. We've kicked around some ideas, and I will say some of the viewers have actually turned in some pretty good ideas as well. So hey, if anyone's got any ideas, let us know in the chat or something. We're trying to come up.
Somebody
with
said PlayStation Prime. I think that's really good.
PlayStation Prime.
No.
we're trying to come up with ideas around it. So it's that's always been the hardest part for me is coming up with that title, that name, that brand. So we'll get there. But yeah, that is the plan. People have asked for weeks, months about some sort of PlayStation dedicated podcast to go along with the other two. And Ryan and I we're working on it. The plan is in motion. So we hear you guys. We're going to make it happen. I see some of the Sony Pony podcast. Yeah,
that'd be great. You guys should just really embrace it.
Jeez. Well, we'll see. We'll keep it out in the chat there. For PS Bros.
That's what someone said.
Hey, there's always a chance. We'll see. I thought like somebody recommended like PlayStation Pulse, and I was like, okay, that's closer. That's getting closer to kind of the idea, but it's I want to think it through really well before we land on something. So Ryan and I were brainstorming. We're figuring it out. And also, I think Sony's going to have something towards the end of May anyway, so that'll be a nice, I think, launching point there to kind of go over what their second half of their generation is going to look like then. So we'll see. Also, I did want to give a shout out again to the members over on the Spawncast Patreon, of course, starting with some of the producers and executive producers. John O did mention going out to many games, so we'll be able to catch up with him there. Joshua Butts, Mr. Joby, Justin Maverick, The Game Orb, and Trent A. Shout out to the supporters over there. We appreciate it. And then I guess make sure you check out Game and Talk because they have Battle of the Sexes coming up. So it should be a lot of fun. I asked on Twitter some topics people wanted us to go over. And of course, I went through Discord to pick out some of the questions there. But you know what? As I was going through Twitter, I just looked at the topics and I was like, okay, this is one that was asked a ton. This is one. And I basically just lumped it together with the initial one. But I got to say, there's some stuff happening on Twitter that has caught the internet by storm over the past couple of weeks or past week or so. Not necessarily gaming related, but everyone still brought it up. And that was from I have G, who put this in on Twitter, who just asked Kendrick or Drake.
I mean, it's looking like Kendrick right now.
Drake's kind of getting bodied.
It's pretty one-sided.
I was worried because I thought people were going to stare off into space and be like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, okay, good. It's kind of hard to miss right now because even though I'm not into like the music scene and stuff, I still understand the idea of the diss track, and it is it's looking kind of ugly right now. There's some stuff where I'm like, that sounds like things you should go to the police with. But it's kind of bad.
It's getting pretty nasty, to be honest. It's getting pretty bad. I think it'd be good if things just stopped right here, but I doubt it will.
I don't think so.
You think they get together and just come up with this stuff and realize it's going to make them a bunch of money because of the exposure? So
the two of them come together?
Together.
Not those two. Maybe if it was like the baby or somebody like that, yeah. But not those two. Too much ego, especially from Drake's side. Drake is a douchebag and he's egotistical, like super crazy. So I mean, he would never allow this type of thing, you know. And he already has tons of money anyway. So I
asked Sean about this thing going into this. I saw many people question, like, Sean probably knows, and he doesn't seem to like Drake very much either. So,
I mean,
he said it a lot. He said it more in a Sean way.
A lot of people don't like Drake. But Drake, that it's just the stuff that Drake does is like super suspect, man. Like I said, I don't want to go over all of it, but there's a lot of things that Drake is just very suspect. You know,
okay.
What he does, like how he treats other women.
Yeah, he's pretty not ideal.
Yeah, he's pretty not like how he interacts with certain, you know, younger girls in the industry and things. So I'll just leave it right there.
Does this have like a lot of like the fanboy stuff attached, like fanboyism kind of attached to it too, where there's like two sides and they're also like clashing over
I feel like
winning?
I've even seen like a lot of people who are big Drake people and they're like, yeah, no, Kendrick is winning.
Drake people know that Drake is sus. Like they all know he is very sus. He's just popular and he can sing. I mean, he can sing and he can rap and he's talented, but they all know he's super sus. That's the thing about it. They know. And then you got the weirdos and idiots like Sexy Red and Ice Spice fans that defend him like crazy. And because they're all sus and stupid. They don't know good rap if it hit them over the head. So like their opinions don't count. But
I'm a little confused because it seems like Kendrick has dropped track after track after track. Like he hasn't given them time.
He just had him waiting, just ready to
what's
go.
happening? He just dropped one an hour before this podcast. Like everyone was waiting for Drake to do something. He drops another one, and that one looked really bad. They had the thumbnail was a picture of the guy's house with all the sex offender marks on it. That seems like a problem.
There's some truth to that, right?
I love John's just like not hip hop sort of white guy approach. This sounds bad news, guys. I don't know.
I'm just telling you.
I don't know, guys. I think we should contact I think we should get law enforcement involved.
Proper authorities for this.
Where's the constable?
Are you sure they're not talking to each other about this and coming up with?
There's no way.
I don't know.
No way.
All right. I feel like that's what people said about professional wrestlers back in the day too.
Yeah, because you're involving his wife and their kids. Like it's
hip hop gets pretty personal. It cuts deep. These guys, if it'll be pretty obvious when they don't like each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's all over Twitter. So, is it done now or
do we go home or?
I don't know what happens. Usually it would spill out into like some craziness in the real world, but it just seems to just still be on Twitter.
It's still going. Kendrick's got a show on the 16th of June in Toronto, and then
he's got more in the chamber. He's got more in the chamber.
Wow, seems like something you'd hype up with some diss tracks back and forth to make a bunch of money. Interesting.
They just come out on stage together.
Wow.
Hella cute.
That would ruin hip hop. That would literally that would be the end of hip hop as we know it. Even though
I made that joke a long time ago when my friends were really into this stuff in high school. I was just good. And I was just like, what if they got together and just went back for no, I can't do that.
Was that during the whole like West Coast, East Coast thing is when you said that?
What's that?
Like you said that during the whole West Coast, East Coast thing?
Something was happening. I'm like, this seems like what I would do if I wanted to make a bunch of money, and I felt like I could do it through conflict like that. I would just
back then,
make up beef and just have people fight back and forth, and
back then, though, John, people got like shot. Like it
was not good.
Yeah, like if you're talking like 50 Cent, like stuff like between that and Ja Rule, people got like beat up, shot, killed. So it's like, ooh. I don't know if this is trying to make
I'm not saying it can't get out of control either way. I'm not saying it can't, but there are probably plenty of instances where they're like, hey, this could definitely make us some money if we just kind of worked it out behind the scenes. Made up like a little drama thing. But, well, there you go. He's got a show coming up. So I'm sure that's completely free and you're not hyping it up for any money.
Oh, no. You got to buy tickets.
Well, there you go. Hey, it's MVG. Okay, maybe not. There's MVG.
Just in time to get this back on the rails.
Hey, people asking. MVG's really into music. He knows.
It depends on the music we're talking about.
I managed to talk for like 8 minutes with everyone MVG about Kendrick and Drake. You should be proud of me.
Yeah, I didn't even know what's going on there. Like, it's not really.
Okay, it's not just me. See,
I mean, if it was between like Metallica and like Slayer, maybe I'd understand what's happening better.
How committed I am. Before this show went live, I watched 12 minutes of Drake versus Kendrick Lamar, the 100% full story explained.
Wow.
There you go.
Sounds like a bit.
No, it's a channel called What's the Dirt. I figured they would have the dirt.
They had
it. All right, is that enough talk? Is everyone in the chat satisfied? We good? Yes. All right, cool. You're welcome. Let me. Hey, I told you. I hear the people. I see it.
Yeah, you're a man of the people, John.
There you go. Okay. Let me go over since MVG is with us. MVG, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Have MVG back as well. So I was going to immediately go into Stellar Blade MVG because I saw you've played it. Ryan was busy playing PlayStation 3. He hasn't had a chance to get to it. So he'll get to it soon, though, I think, because you played through the demo, Ryan. So I assume you're probably moving on to that next, I assume. And then OJ, of course, has been playing it. He said he's going to try to platinum it even. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. And Josie only got to play Mario Kart against MVG this week. So we'll come back to you on... I don't know. What is the next thing you're going to play, Josie?
I'm going to play Endless Ocean. I tried to go get it, and my GameStop was like, we don't have copies. Nobody gave us them. And I was like, oh, that's so lame.
Oh, man, really?
Yeah. Oh, wow. They didn't get shipped any stock, so.
Yeah, and Nintendo didn't even contact me for the review copy. So.
Well, did you watch gameplay for that, Josie?
No. I'm just gonna go in blind. I know that it's like nothing. You scan fish and you swim around with bad swimming mechanics. But I want to see
awesome.
I looked up some gameplay for it and I was like, oh, I don't even think I'm gonna pick this up.
The 30-player online sounds cool though.
Isn't it just basically Pokemon Snap underwater?
Yeah, but like worse, because like you just scan them and like nothing, like there's no pictures or anything to take.
There's no game. There's no like actual real game to it. It's just kind of like doing nothing.
Just kind of vibe.
You're just vibing.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to try it.
Yeah, I'll buy it because like I think Nintendo's gonna make like 5 copies of it. So
I don't think there's gonna be many physically. You're right. I think this is gonna be one of those games, but
I'll definitely cop it.
Well, let's see. Stellar Blade. How much do you play, MVG?
Well, I don't really know where I am as compared to the entire game, but I will say that I'm in that part in the IDOS factory after the city, so I'm kind of in there at the moment doing stuff in there. So I beat. I can't remember the name of the boss, but I don't want to spoil it, so I shouldn't say anything, but. It's one of those bosses where you can only use your range weapon to take down.
I know exactly where you are. Kind of turned into a little bit dead space there for a bit.
Yeah, so I just finished that part, so I'm kind of on the next bit of that. So I don't know how far into the game I am. I think I'm about like 5 or 6 hours in at the moment, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think I'm coming up on the 18-hour mark. I'm coming up on the 20-hour mark right now, total. And OJ, I think you've been rolling through this game pretty well.
Yeah, I'm like almost 30 hours, but I've been doing like every side quest. I've like leveled up a bit more than usual and been exploring like everything in the game. So I really like it a lot. So
I've actually
been doing more of the side quests. Yeah,
you know me, John. I'm not big on side quests in some games, but I've actually been enjoying the ones in this one. I've actually been doing them. So I've done a lot of the ones in the Wasteland, and I did the that board that Roxanne has with the different quests that you get. I've been rolling through those as well, so I like it. I like the game. It's good.
Yeah, the quests are so you do a quest, and when you finish it, technically out in the field, it asks if you want to teleport back to turn it in. So that has made it a bit easier to just approach them, and they mark them all on your map. So for the most part, it's pretty easy to just go there, complete whatever it is. The ones that I'm not a huge fan of, and it's really annoying, and you get one of them I just looked up because like, I don't feel like doing this. It's like the math ones where they just throw these random symbols at. Figure this out. It's like
I will tell you, I just Googled the answer. I ain't got time for that shit to figure out what the answer is.
There was one where I looked up
ones like with the numbers.
Yeah, that's Googled it.
I just Googled it too.
I looked at the solution. They're like, you square the first number and then you square root the second number. I'm like, what? What is this?
Dude, I deal with numbers at work every single day. I don't want to fuck around and try to figure out, in my spare time what the answer is. I'll just Google it.
I love the energy.
Dude, Ryan, if you play, when you get to that point, I feel like you're gonna. I think a lot of people just looked it up. It's like, all right, who figured this out? Okay.
Do you even like do one attempt, or like immediately you're like, nope?
I'll look at it, Ryan, and I'm like, if I can't figure this out in about 15 seconds, I'm just gonna search for the answer.
15. Okay, so that's like right away.
Yeah,
I tried to do it for like I think I did it for about 10 minutes or so, and I'm just like, dude, this is stupid. And I just looked it up.
Well, all it does, Ryan, it shows you a pattern of numbers, and in between, the one that I was like annoyed with, I'm like, I don't, it just put the pound symbol between them. I'm like, figure out why this equals this. And I'm like, what? So, and I look it up, and it's like doing, you have to square certain numbers, and other ones you subtract from, and like, what?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh no, I'm done. No way.
I should have taken a screenshot and just put it up here and been like, figure this out. You have 2 minutes to do it. And I feel like no one here would figure it out.
I don't mind math problems in games, but like the way that they did it was stupid. Like the way that they made it too obtuse, you know. But you luckily could just look it up and you'd be done with it, you know.
I really like the game, but I will say that, you know, people keep saying that it's like a PS2 game that runs on the PS5. I think there's actually a lot to be said that I agree with in that aspect. Some of the game mechanics are very kind of PS2 era, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not knocking it in any way, but there are a couple of quests where it's like, find these key cards, you know, to unlock this security terminal and stuff like that, right? So some of the kind of the running around you got to do is a little bit mundane, I feel like, but what really makes up for the game is the combat. Like every time you get into a combat, it just feels really good. It's, you know, it makes everything awesome. But the other thing I will say is I've already had a couple of recycled bosses. I don't know if you guys have noticed
they've
that.
done that a couple times.
Kind of wish they didn't do that. I'm not a big fan of, you know, recycled bosses in games. I get it, especially if there's side quests where you got to face a boss at the end to beat the quest, whatever. But I wish I would have, you know, a bit bigger variety of bosses in the game, at least with the amount I've played so far. And it may kind of open up a little bit more. You guys may have a different take on that. But
no, I'm at a part that's near the end of the game, and I'm fighting against a recycled boss right now.
This is the number puzzle. This is what they show you. They go, solve this.
Yeah, dude, I got no time for that, Ryan. I'm just Googling shit.
If I saw that, I don't know what I would do. I'd wonder if it was like,
I thought the game was messing with me. I was like, what?
Yeah, like is that for real? Like
Josie, you're in college.
No, I'm a liberal arts major, you know.
Oh man.
So I don't know. I haven't taken a math class since senior year of high school.
I honestly looked at this and I'm like, have I been out of school that long? Am I
No.
Straight up putting Stellar Blade spoilers right on screen. Despicable.
I told you. Sometimes you just gotta I'm just Googling this. I got no time for this.
Do you think that's taking away from the experience, though?
No, taking away from the experience would be me spending 30 minutes trying to figure out what the answer is. That would take away from my experience.
That's true.
I'd argue it's a pacing problem. To throw this up in between like really satisfying combat just seems so polarizing.
It's like a side quest though, so like you don't have to do it. It's just there. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this because it's, you know, it's extra money, and I think I actually got a couple items too. But I just looked at like, what is this? This is strange. They have a lot of different like hacking mini games too that threw me off, because at one point it's like, just follow this in order, left, and then they threw it at me, and it's like, you're getting all these wrong. I'm like, how? It's because eventually they give you a grid of arrows and then start jumping around random spots. You just have to look at it like, okay,
it's like a 4x4 grid of D-pad presses, and basically you got to press them in the order that they show you sequentially, like, you know, line by line type of thing. And then eventually, as you progress into the game, they just like open up random ones on the grid, and you have to kind of follow along with it. And that messed with me as well, John. When the first time I did, I was like, what's going on here? What's happening? And then I realized that they're spreading it open, you know, a little more so.
But the combat I like, the abilities you're getting are fun and interesting, and like the combat opens up constantly as I go through the game. So they keep throwing new abilities at you, and you have like a little rage mode I got and stuff. So there's a lot happening in the game, and I do feel like I'm legitimately getting more and more powerful as I go. And they have, of course, they have like 70 outfits or something in the game. I think I've switched my outfit like twice. I'll be real. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it.
Do you feel like it's restricting your ability to enjoy the game by not being able to see more of the woman's Tits.
I took the game out of the PS5 and threw it away this morning.
Just doing it. Just going for it.
This is a game I think the gameplay can overcome that, Josie. I will say that. I think the game is very enjoyable.
Just barely, though. I was very angry. I was very, very angry. I made a video and I signed a petition. How dare
Change.org.
Hey, I heard they got 75,000 something now.
The game's very fun, though. I'm enjoying it. I will tell you this. I have completely zoned out on the story. Something's
Everyone
happening.
keeps
I don't know.
saying that, and I have that. I actually like the story. I don't think it's like the greatest story ever, but I'm interested in what like the war beforehand and some of the stuff that's in there, like what happened and like what happened to the humans, like the original humans and things like that. So I actually think it's a pretty cool story.
I get that. That part's interesting.
Yeah,
the origin to it. Yeah, but I mean, the core idea of what they pushed immediately in the people played the demo. Obviously, know that there is some big bad that you're chasing most of the way, and that's been fine. But I get what you're saying about the setting, OJ. Maybe it's me because I haven't felt the need to like go through a lot of those data logs and things you're finding. I'm hoping the game explains more to me as I go, but still plenty of game in front of me, still stuff to do. So we'll see. Maybe it'll grab me towards the end.
How many hours is this game supposed to be?
I've seen people clock almost 40 hours on their first playthrough.
Wow. Okay.
So I don't know how much side content they did, but I have seen that number come up a lot. 38 to 42 hours, somewhere in there. And there's the Game Plus, of course. So
that's the other thing about the side quests. And again, bear with me because I'm way kind of earlier in the game than you guys, but like every time you do a side quest, it's like go find this person, and every time you find them, like they're dead. Like
they are dead a lot.
Like,
they are.
NPCs are actually like living in this game. Like everyone's dead.
There's a few that are alive.
Go find my brother, and you're right. You just find him dead, like in the field somewhere, and it's like, well, your brother died. Thanks for the money. That's how you just leave. So it's pretty straightforward about it. But yeah, it's enjoyable. I'm gonna be playing it. So just wanted to give an update where we were with Stellar Blade. And I guess we'll, depending on how much longer it takes us to get through it, I guess we'll organize some sort of video. We'll be talking about like the Final Fantasy VII. So we
can talk about it. I like it.
Whoever's completed at that time, feel free to jump in. OJ, whoever, we can have a little 20-30 minute video about it. So I think it'd be fun. Let's I do want to bring this up. These are some Discord questions that we had. As I said, I wanted to go through more of those as well from the community. SSJ Pika said, considering Warner Bros. Recent focus on live service games rather than single player titles, does this increase the possibility of a Gotham City Imposters revival? I thought everyone forgot about that game.
Wasn't that like the multiplayer mode in like one of the Batman games? Or no?
I really liked that game, and I feel like no one remembers that game. It was sort of, it wasn't really a hero shooter. It was like a class shooter, but it was very unique where you were just a regular person in essentially like a group that either dressed up as Batman or you dressed up as like Joker minions, and you would battle it out in the streets. But you had like a grappling hook. You had some weird and like, I mean, just junk gadgets to fight each other with. And it was a very unique and fun game. And it got shut down, but technically on the Xbox 360, you can still download a demo and play like the early demo part. I did it in a video, and it was interesting to go back and just see it. You're not playing against anyone else. I wouldn't mind that. I thought it was at least a unique idea, and I think that's something that multiplayer in general needs more than ever, because we have a lot of.
Don't you think they might be scared about doing it because of the new Justice League thing or Suicide Squad game?
Yeah, I have wondered if that's put them off of some of these ideas. You're right, because
they got bashed hard.
Well, yeah, but I think people looked at that as Rocksteady is good at the single player stuff, so hopefully they do another, and then it ended up turning into a live service thing. I wonder if they just announce this as it's multiplayer. It'd probably be free to play. I think Imposters like $15 or something. It's gonna be free to play. Everyone's gonna throw out there, and it's a team that generally does multiplayer anyway. Maybe people would be more receptive to it. But you're right, the Suicide Squad thing, I'd be concerned dumping a ton of money into some of this multiplayer stuff with Batman right now if I'm Warner Bros. But they want their live service stuff. So I don't know. It was an interesting moment in time. It was there in that 360 Xbox Live Arcade, where we just had a lot of unique ideas getting thrown around. It was time I don't really have as much anymore, but it was the good days, sort of.
It were the good days.
Yeah. Let me go over to Helldivers 2. What a 48 hours. What a past 48 hours for Sony, Arrowhead, and apparently Steam. Because we had the announcement, it was Friday, so yesterday. Of course, they want to push this out right at the end of the week, that they were going to be instating the requirement for login to the PlayStation Network if you want to play on Steam. And this did not go well. At this time, they have nearly 100,000 negative reviews that have dropped on Steam on this game. And this happened in the last 2 days. And it has pushed their overall review down to mostly negative. And apparently now Steam is even refunding games, even if you've played more than someone played for 200 hours. There's a screenshot of them getting a refund for this thing. And the theory right now as to why Valve is doing this is because PlayStation Network is not available in all regions. So maybe it's somebody who is legitimately in a different region that is not supported. And well, they're not gonna be able to play the game, so they should get a refund for that. So this definitely blew up more than I was expecting, and I'm sure many others. So I guess the question really becomes, is this an overreaction, and will Sony turn around and maybe backtrack a bit on the absolute requirement to sign into PlayStation Network?
They're not backing down.
No.
It's done.
Okay,
it's a done
so
deal.
Here's the interesting. So you know what? I'm sure you've been following this as well, Ryan, but I think just today, some Discord messages got out there from like Arrowhead has their community managers and stuff running around for this. Obviously, they have to deal with a lot, but Arrowhead is having, they say, internal discussions with Sony around this. And apparently Arrowhead developers are not happy with this either. Like, they seem to be kind of frustrated, according to them, the community managers. So I mean, obviously this is from Sony because it's around PlayStation Network, trying to get more people on board with it. Maybe it does make it easier behind the scenes to, as they say, ban people or regulate or manage all this stuff. But I kind of think you guys are right that I don't think Sony's going to turn around and say, no, we're not doing this now, because this was their plan from the start. Like they were trying to get people on this right away.
I mean, it was always there. They just really shot themselves in the foot with not doing it day one. And also, they had no idea how big this game was going to be. I mean, honestly, that's kind of why this got as big as it did, right? Because it's such a popular game. You know, if it kind of comes out and has a smaller audience, you're not going to see the same kind of reaction. People will still be upset about it. Nobody wants to have to log into all these separate publisher sites because it is a pain. But you know, the game got way too big 2 months in, not a requirement. Now it's a requirement. Sony's got a history of not handling data breaches very well. Like, it's just all a very bad look.
I will say, when that login screen comes up, like, let's say you're playing on a console even, because console is probably the one where it's most annoying because you have to leave the console and go to the computer. Maybe it's not as big of a deal with the computer since it'll just open a separate window. When that login screen comes up, I will say there have been a few times where I've been like how bad do I want to play this game right now? I don't know. Like there is all of a sudden some doubt creeping. It's like, and there is a certain game, I don't know if I should name it, that I've tried to get people on the Spawncast to play, and that screen came up, and that was it. It was over. Like, that was the end of it.
Well,
that was it.
What game was it?
A certain Final Fantasy
14.
Yeah. I saw that login screen come up, and I already knew. It's like that. No one's gonna play this now.
Well, John, this game sucks that I'm about to talk about for me. But like Redfall, it popped up like, "Hey, log in this." I was like, "No, I'm good. This game's not good enough for me." Yeah. I was like, "I'm good." The game already is not very good, and then on top of that, you're making me do this. So yeah, I don't like the login stuff either. But I don't know, man. I guess if the game is good enough, then you'll do it. You'll just take care of it. It'll take however many minutes, and then you'll, move on to and play your game, I guess. But I understand why some people are angry at it, though. Like, I get it.
I do feel for Arrowhead because they are definitely taking all the heat for this, because obviously they're the ones that have to make the statement. But make no mistake, this is obviously something Sony has requested to get done. So Sony doesn't care, man. They'll just sit back, wait for the dust to settle, and then they'll just proceed. They're not going to back down on this. I don't feel like they would do that.
No, I mean, on the PS5 obviously is unaffected since people already have PlayStation Network there. And Matt Piscatella did share that in terms of like the Circana report, that the PlayStation 5 version or the PC version on Steam, if you split them up, either one would still top the sales charts for all of the entire year to date for sales. So both of them on their own have done really well. And I mean, maybe Sony's like, well, the PS5 is, I mean, sure, if we lose a bunch of users on PC, we still have the PS5 holding things up perfectly fine. But I feel like that. So this doesn't go into place until the 6th. So this week coming up for new accounts. Current ones, you still have 30 days before it starts requiring that login. And I think even that's going to be in waves. So that'll be in June, which is probably when we would see an actual fall off for numbers if it was going to happen. Because I do think there are going to be many people who are like, I still really want to play Helldivers 2. Fine, I'll just log in.
But I mean, like I said, like there's going to be a little bit of up and down, but eventually it'll just sort itself out one way or the other. And you know, again, it's not something that I feel like they're going to walk back.
There's no way. I mean, the companies, this is part of their PC rollout. It's every other publisher does it. They're finally going to start shipping more PC games, especially live service ones. Even setting aside Helldivers 2, like the next game's going to have it. The next they're going to do what everyone else does. I will say, I feel like it's one of those low hanging fruit things with the whole, you know, oh, what about the countries that aren't supported thing? Like, yeah, they do have to address that, but there's a lot of people upset just because they just don't want to make the account. Like, let's be honest. It is a free account. You don't have to give them any info either. It's it's free. You do that with everything. If you just punch in one of your burner emails, don't put in a fake name, just get it done and over with. It's a pain. Nobody likes it, but there's absolutely no way they're somehow going to walk this back.
I really think the core issue people should have with this isn't even necessarily having to make the account. What it should be is the idea that a game that you bought and then months later can be altered in this way, even though it was obviously it's there at the start because you can look like Internet Archive and stuff. Like the thing was there that's like, hey, it requires PSN. But we've been through this a bunch of times with live service games where you can own a game after buying it and then it can just be altered to either completely inconvenience you or in some cases make it so you just can't play the game if you're not in a certain region, we'll say. Like you mentioned, Ryan, there's not as many people obviously that are in those regions, but still there's somebody out there who's probably like, I don't know, they said large, like many parts of Africa, for example, just not able to technically make an account then. We'll just say that. But the idea that can come in and kind of just change the entire complexity of a game for you and even deny access as a little concerning just to bring up for the whole digital only, the live service push that we're seeing right now. It does make you wonder about purchases you make now versus what happens to them in the future. So it's that's the only thing I really look at this and say, yeah, okay, I definitely understand that perspective. But you're right, it is a free account. I mean, people are gonna if Sony doesn't fold or back down a bit on this, I feel like eventually you'll see people just go, well, all my friends are playing, I want to play too. But who knows? Maybe they hit them with enough refunds and Sony goes, nah, it's optional now. But I think you're right in that this is the strategy. They want people on PSN, on PC.
Well, they just want the MAUs and whatever sort of data they can collect.
I feel like Helldivers 2 has a ridiculous amount to get to. Yeah.
It's just like they just really shot themselves in the foot by not requiring it like immediately and just sort of ripped that Band-Aid off. And it just looks even worse when it's like, well, the game was working just fine, right? So
well, at the beginning it wasn't. It does now, right?
True, yes. Now. Yeah. To that credit, it was not working fine day one, but now it's stable.
And I left it on, and I was like, I'll be back in like an hour. And I came back, and like you're like, it just started working 5 minutes ago or something. Yeah. So it was kind of ridiculous then. But that's the only thing. It's like now they put a barrier up, and now you got to put your information in months later. So you're right. If they had a day one and you knew what you were getting into when you were giving them money, then it's like, okay, well, you gave them the money. You know you have to sign up, so they have to sign up. But
is it going to offer like trophies and stuff on PC at least? It's going to pop trophies.
It should. That's
right?
the other thing. Yeah. If I would assume the game's going to get the overlay, just like Tsushima Director's Cut is getting. And in that case, it's just going to be a shared trophy list. So it would be technically that would be cross progression. And since it's live service, that means it would very much be like your player data would still be there. Because like Tsushima, they've not confirmed this, but there's no cross progression for single player. But if you log into Legends, that's server side. So I imagine that should all carry over. But it's a shared trophy list across the two.
Gonna need that cross buy soon.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Sony's willing to do that quickly, but yeah.
Hey, get that launcher ready, Sony. People are gonna be real excited to install that based on their reaction to this account sign up. Hey, if I get cross buy, I would actually use that launcher because I have a bunch of games digitally as well that I would just immediately load up there and use.
Cross buy would be incredible, but I doubt they'll do it. But that would be super cool.
You know what would also be cool, but they're not going to do this, is they're going to, what they should do is link up your PlayStation Portal to your PC PlayStation library.
Oh, that'd be okay. So I like that. I like that idea. So you can stream right from your PC that might be a bit more outfitted for some of these games.
Why couldn't you do that? If I bought Helldivers 2 on PC and it has a PlayStation launcher, I should be able to use my Portal to launch the game and play it remotely.
I like that idea.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that would have caught me out of left field a bit if you didn't mention it now, MVG. Like if they made that announcement. Okay, I'll keep an eye out for that. That's a good idea. That and then of course PSVR2 compatibility, like that.
You don't think they would do that, MVG? That makes a lot of sense because that would encourage accessory sales for a non-PlayStation customer.
I would hope they do it.
Yeah,
I want them to do it.
I hadn't thought about that, but that would make a lot of sense.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So the Helldivers we're gonna see this week coming up because obviously Sony wouldn't even make an announcement until Monday anyway because they're off for the weekend. But we'll see. People are trying to get refunds. People keep trying to put them in, and they're getting denied. And then denied again, and then approved for some reason. So we'll see if that happens. Do you think? I do wonder if this is going to be a common occurrence going forward. As like Concord, I assume you're going to be doing the PSN sign up. Fair Games, probably the same thing.
That's what I mean. It's not like they're not going to do this for the other games.
I wonder if there's now going to be pushback then too, even if it's at launch.
Nah, I don't know. If anything, Helldivers 2 might be the Band-Aid rip that is needed.
It is. It's the because
then everyone will have the account.
Yep.
Oh, good point.
But MVG makes a great point, which is the relationship. Because Sony and Arrowhead were working together for quite a while on Helldivers 1 and then this game. You would think that was a very healthy symbiotic relationship, but now this is I can imagine it's like I feel bad for Arrowhead. This is definitely something where they're catching so much heat, and it's like Sony owns the IP, like Arrowhead's not going anywhere. Like this is a PlayStation Studios game. So it sucks that that's kind of they're at odds there.
It kind of looks like just from the outside because they did it right before the weekend. It kind of looks like they got left out to dry a bit on that one because they're just like, no one's going to make a decision for the next 3 days. So here we are. Go ahead and yell at us now.
Yeah, that
even the CEO. Did you see the CEO post on Twitter about it?
No, what did he say?
I can pull it up, but it was basically, it sounded like he couldn't do anything. It's like, well, we're going to try to make a good game for you. It was kind of tough. Let me see. I had it pulled up. Here we go. Okay, here it is. This is from the CEO on Twitter who said, ouch, right in the review score. They took a screenshot of the review scores going down on Steam and then said, well, I guess it's warranted. Sorry, everyone, for how this all transpired. I hope we will make it up and regain the trust by providing a continued great game experience. I just want to make great games.
That's all you got to do. They don't have any. Arrowhead has nothing to worry about. If you just stick to the plan, keep making awesome content, keep updating the game, you'll be fine.
There you go. Okay. Well, we'll see how things transpire this week coming up. Let me go to me go to, okay, this is a good question. I think, Ryan, you had answered this at one point. Drew Man, this was over on Discord, saying, what do we think is the reason Sony hasn't fully embraced the PC demographic yet? They seem to have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm sure they've developed a PC launcher already. PSVR 2 would be an instant success if they tossed us an official PC driver for it. Why are they resisting it?
They're not. It's just, like I said this last Friday on my show, I'm like, I think the only thing keeping them back now is just logistics. Like, they're actively doing everything right now. Like, the floodgates are open. The only reason why it's not like PC launch or PC day and date single player, and because they have to do it now. They have to logistically figure that out. So they brought in Nexus. Last time I checked on the PSVR 2 situation, the like encryption thing, I vaguely remember this on the back end. It's the way that the single PSVR 2 wire carries like a certain amount of power. So you need a certain display port for that to actually work natively. But people that like to tinker on the back end already see that. So like, I think it's AMD and NVIDIA graphics cards can now recognize PSVR 2 as a VR display rather than when it's stuck in cinema mode. Because if you connected it before, it would just read as cinema mode. So they've already, like, the last PSVR 2 firmware already, like, they're laying the groundwork. So that's like in progress. As far as PS studios go, like, these are historically console devs. They just don't have a PC pipeline just yet, but they're getting there. So, and then the overlay as well. Like, it's just going to take time is all, really.
Okay. We're just trying to figure out, well, with PSVR specifically, I'm just trying to figure out if they're going to let you use it for any game you want, like on Steam, or if they do have a launcher that it specifically has to be used with. That's the only thing I'm curious about.
That we don't know, but it sounds like it's not going to be a really bad streaming solution. Like, it sounds like they're going for direct connection, but the way that it's, at least my understanding is, no matter what, you would actually need an adapter, just because of how much power is carried through that single USB-C cable. So for most desktops, I believe you're going to need some kind of adapter,
like a cable that would plug into that, and then it maybe has to plug into another power source or another USB even. Just something.
I forget the name. There's like certain graphics cards that have the port where it would work, but they don't make them anymore.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only thing. If they announce it and they're like, oh yeah, now you do this extra little cable or something, you just got to order it. Well,
it sounds like they're going to do direct connection. It's just, I think the only worry now is, like, are they going to stick it to a proprietary storefront or just let anybody use this thing?
Okay. Let's see. I do want to bring up this was funny. We have to address Piaro here for a second. Who's definitely not Nate, who put out an image of Nintendo World Championships 1990. It's an NES cartridge. And this turned into the Da Vinci Code real fast online, where it was the most literal sense that they were trying to tell people that there's a Nintendo World Championships game on the way for the Switch, because the next day there was an ESRB rating that popped up, Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. And the rating summary is, this is a collection of 2D challenges and platformer games in which players traverse through various modes like speedrun and survival.
What do you mean? It wasn't huge Nintendo Switch 2 leak? Read all the pieces?
Yes, sir, on Nintendo Prime.
Why are you calling out names? I didn't say anybody's name.
I'm putting names on the bullet.
There were switches on the cartridge though, so that's why I took a screenshot. I was like, this should go well, and it's just like the switches on the cartridge. Like, that should go well. It was the first image you searched for Nintendo World Championships. That was the first one that came up. So PR very clearly searched for it and just grabbed that, and people were going through the numbers and everything. It was getting a little weird. Like there was like
like the dates and stuff.
Yes, it was like,
it's coming out in March, guys. I swear.
In my mind, I'm looking at this like those are just like those numbers have been there this whole time. Like all of a sudden they line up to, I don't know, some weird date or something. Yeah, but no, it was just Nintendo World Championships, which if it's already I was trying to recall when a Nintendo game has like first been leaked by the ESRB, like it's come up. I feel like that really does not happen often. Like this is kind of uncommon, actually.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is this might be a Twitter announcement next week. They might just drop it on there, and it's like, here's this $30 or $40 game, because I think PRO had mentioned that it's
30.
It's not NSO, which to me, massively missed opportunity. I think this would have been a really cool NSO game where you could do almost like how you have Tetris 99, where you bring all these people together and they try to do these, they play Tetris together. But in this case, it could be a whole challenge run thing where everyone's just doing these challenges and the high score wins or something like that. That feels like that would have been a really cool benefit to add. But if it's like a $30 or $40 game, as kind of being mentioned here, it's at least not 60. I don't know.
It seems like NES Remix. If you played those, it seems like
those are fun games for what they were.
Yeah, like a new take on that. So that's what it seems like. Just like NES Remix for the Switch.
It very deflating, I think, for a lot of people out there to see this.
Deflating, dude. It was
really?
it was ridiculous. The whole thing was ridiculous. Like when I saw the cartridge, I was like, all right, what's he teasing here? And I kind of looked at the cartridge and I was thinking to myself, is this anything beyond just an NWC type game? Yeah, I mean, I was looking at all the old games that were on the NWC cartridge, like Red Racer and all those old games. And I thought maybe they're just going to make a compilation of the old games on the NWC cartridge. And we don't know what the games are going to be, of course. So I'm still, guessing here, but I figured that's what they were going to do with this.
Yeah, my theory was leaning into the idea of NSO being tied in, but I guess not. That's the only thing where I'm like, it could have been cool. But who knows? Maybe it's a really good compilation of challenges and stuff for these older games, and $30 isn't terrible. So
NES Remix was awesome. So
it was.
Yeah,
I liked it.
This should definitely have full on. I assume this is going to have full online. I say assume because I still can't play Strikers online with 4 people. But either way, I assume this is going to lean into the online, gameplay and stuff. So that could actually be really fun. So we'll see how that turns out. I feel like this is something they announce around their investors meeting. It's like, oh, here it is on Twitter. There you go. We got another game coming up. Maybe it's like July or something. So they have to string it out a little further before they start going big, I assume. So. Yep, I'd look for that next week. See what happens. Let me go over to Anonymouster. This is also on Discord, saying, should Steam get involved in funding game developers or publishers so that PC ports are created better?
No.
This comes up constantly about PC. Have you noticed that PC ports, I don't know if it's just me, I feel like they've gotten worse. Is that just me?
I don't really play PC ports enough, John, to really give a good take on that. I mean, the last game on the PC I played was actually Redfall. And I will say, compared to the Xbox version, it was way better. Actually, that's not true. Starfield was the last game I played on PC. And compared to the Xbox version, it was still way better. But it had a lot of issues, especially with regards to frame rate. There was no DLSS implementation at the time. It was only FSR. So, yeah, I mean, I guess, it was probably a port that was still maybe not ideal, not optimal. But I don't really play PC games enough to give an accurate kind of take on that for the most part.
The last 2 PC games I played were Persona 3 Reload, and that seemed pretty good. And then I played Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, and that was definitely better on PC than it was on PS5. Like, it was absolutely better on PC. So I guess from what I've played, it seems like PC's okay. But once again, I don't play a ton either. So
I think a questionable PC part, I'm trying to think, other than like Dragon's Dogma, which was so hit or miss if it was even going to function on your PC. Dude, the Avatar game, it made my computer sound like it was going to explode. That game beat up my GPU, like a 3080 Ti, and I was like, wow, this thing is like cooking this video card.
I think Hellblade 2 is going to be the same.
Yeah, they put the system requirements out, and I was looking at it like, wow, okay,
yeah,
this game is pretty demanding.
John, did you notice what was missing from those system requirements? The target frame rate.
I didn't see about frame rate. Yeah,
they didn't say anything about target frame rate.
That's going to be interesting if the game comes out. That's capped at 30 on PC.
And if the very high specs require, what was it, a 4080 for very high?
Yes. Yeah, it looked again, it looked like you needed some pretty significant hardware to run that game at like decent fidelity levels.
I gotta say that I don't know about Hellblade 2. Hopefully, the PC version is up to snuff. We'll see.
I see for very high. So this is high graphics preset, 4K. You're right. It's a 4080 Ryzen 5 5700X or an i5 12600K, 16 gigabytes RAM, 12 gigabytes of VRAM. So you're gonna need quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be interesting. Those benchmarks are gonna be fun. So we'll see. We'll see. I am curious about the frame rate, MG. You're right, because if it's got to be locked at 30 because I need the cinematic experience.
I thought it was 60 on PC.
Hellblade 2.
Yeah,
we'll see. Hey, if it's I don't know. I don't like that. I need the cinematic experience. Maybe we got to go 24 frames on it. We'll see. We'll see. But that's out soon. A couple weeks, we'll probably see review codes and stuff go out for people to try it and go from there. Let's go over to, while we're on the topic of Xbox, let's talk about their showcase that's coming up, and then some. We had some wild Xbox discourse the past couple of days about them even leading into third party more. Even though I feel like we've had that discussion multiple times now, but we do have their showcase. It is coming out June 9th. So they will have it 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Do you think Silk Song's going to be there?
Oh, God.
Asking the hard-hitting questions tonight.
Hey,
no.
Somebody's eventually got to show this thing, right? We're about to go into a summer or a 2-month period now where we should have these showcases all over the place. Ubisoft's going to do their forward. Capcom will probably do one. I don't know if EA will. We'll see. But we're at least going to have the major platform holders do something. So Silk Song has to show up. Maybe it's a Summer Game Fest, but
it doesn't have to do anything, John. It doesn't have to do anything. I don't think it's going to be there, Josie.
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
Man. Wow.
So it's just like you don't think it's coming out this year?
It's probably coming out this year at some point, but I don't think they're going to talk about it at the showcase.
Here's a better question. Do they need any of these shows, or can Team Cherry come out and say, hey, there's a Silk Song showcase next week. Be there.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
That'd be crazy.
I think they kind of could get away with that.
I would call my shot if I was them. I would do it.
They do have a Game Pass deal, though, so maybe they are still tied to Xbox for marketing around that. But that was a while ago. That was like 2 years ago now. So
when Xbox was like, don't worry, it's coming out this year.
Well, everything you see here is coming out in the next 12 months, except for a lot of the stuff.
Except for most of it.
I actually don't think that'd be a bad idea. Even if I was Microsoft, I might let them do it themselves and just be like, put the Game Pass logo up while you're doing it too. Let's do that. But I think they could do it now. I think it has become this mythical thing that is impossible to live up to those hopes and dreams. So let them do it themselves. It's the anticipation around this game. And every time there's an indie showcase, every game is legitimately called to the chat Where Silk Song. That's what every game is titled. So
what if you didn't like the original that much?
Oh, that's a hot take, MG. Oh, you see this? Just
it was all right, but
no, I didn't even. I'm not a Hollow Knight girl either, so
it wasn't my favorite game or anything. It was okay.
I really like Hollow Knight. I thought it was dope.
Really? Why?
It's a really good Metroidvania. It's a really good Metroidvania game. It's got super precise controls. Movement is very good. Whenever you make a mistake, it's your fault. It's not like you're bumbling with the controls at all. Great platforming challenges. Lots of content for how cheap the game is. Pretty cool character design and stuff like that. It's simple, but good. The art style is fantastic. The music is okay, not bad. But I love the extra challenge, like all the content that you get in the game, and like the bosses. The bosses are challenging. It's a interesting game to kind of navigate and go through. So yeah, a lot of good stuff about Hollow Knight.
I've never played it for more than 20 minutes. I actually need to give it a shot.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of time to really get going. Like once you start, kind of like getting some more health and fighting some of the other bosses in there and not getting lost. Like I got lost.
So Josie, you like Dread, right?
Yes.
you should play Prince of Persia. Now that is a good Metroidvania. If
Yes.
you like Dread, you will like Prince of Persia.
I do like Prince of Persia more than Hollow Knight.
Is that $20 yet? I was gonna get it when
it was
getting there.
30. It was like $25 at Walmart the other day.
It's getting there. It's almost there.
It's close.
Right. Once we hit 20, I'll be all over it.
Okay.
That's what I did for Call of Duty. Waited till I hit 30.
Yeah, you bought the wrong version though.
I didn't know. I really didn't know. The thing is I couldn't have bought a physical Xbox.
Oh yeah, she has a series. Here's the good news, Josie. Here in a bit, we'll probably have Call of Duties in Game Pass, so there'll at least be something to play there.
Perfect.
I don't know if it's going to be that one though, because that one's still pretty new, and I think it's under the deal with PlayStation. But still,
what he's saying, Josie, is pretty soon you're not going to be playing Call of Duty on Game Pass.
Hold on a minute, MVG, because all we would play is Warzone.
Yeah, but that's not the same thing as mainline Call of Duty. That's always been free.
Exactly. She can still play though, so you guys can.
Is
still
it not insane, you guys, that I got?
And whoever gets the most kills wins. Go ahead, Josie.
Is it not insane that I got ID'd for that game? You have to be 17. I was like,
no,
dog.
I was quick with that. You come up to me with a mature rated game, I don't care how old you got.
He was like, "Can I see your ID?" And I was like, "What?"
And you're holding like a bottle of like Smirnoff vodka or something.
A bottle of vodka, and he was like, "Let me see your ID. I don't know if you're 17." And I was like, "Oh my god." And the day before, I went to Trader Joe's and had so much alcohol, and they did not ID me. And I was like, "What is happening?"
Huh?
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good that they didn't ID you for the Trader Joe's stuff.
I look, 21 apparently, unless I go to GameStop.
It was pretty fun. Well, I will tell you this: GameStop was real serious about checking that ID for a time. I think it was like when the 360 really started taking off. I remember like so many of those games with the M rating, they would actually write those memos to stores and be like, make sure you're asking for IDs. And that's how you know somebody got in trouble. So what I found was really interesting was the younger people who were like 21 or 22 would get annoyed if you asked for the ID, but a mom or something would be thrilled if you asked for the ID.
Yeah, because it's flattering when you're older, but right now
it worked every time. So it was interesting. But that is funny, though. It was
just such a stark contrast, literally like a day before. And then I was like, what? I've never been ID'd at a GameStop in my life.
Did you pull the "Do you know who I am" card?
Yeah. I said, do you know the Spawncast? I'm on that.
Yeah.
They probably watched.
No. Well, actually, one of the guys who used to work at the GameStop that I go to, he was like, "Are you on a podcast?" And I was like, "Yes." And that was the only time and the best time I've ever been recognized. He was so nice about it, too. I was like, "Yeah, thanks." It was super cute. But that guy's gone. I don't know where he went because he would have never ID'd me.
But the Xbox showcase, this will be their first showcase where they feature games from their portfolio studios across Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda, and Xbox Game Studios, in addition to titles from our third-party partners. That sounds like a lot to show in, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours? That's a lot of stuff happening. Gears apparently is rumored to be one of the big reveals there at this time, but it could be anything now.
I need either Perfect Dark or Fable.
Thank you. Yes, I need Perfect Dark or Fable. As well.
I kind of feel like this is where Perfect Dark reemerges. It seems like it should be set up. I think Crystal Dynamics is, I want to say they're almost done with Tomb Raider. And I actually think we're going to see Tomb Raider this summer at some point. Like just see it again or just see it for the first time, but like see Tomb Raider come back in a way. But I think this is a perfect time for Perfect Dark to just show up and be like, okay, it's still a thing. Don't worry. Because you're right, MG. That's been floating around for years now. It was that 20
Game Awards 2021.
Was that 2020?
Perfect Dark. I feel like it's been 2020, right? Or 2020,
3 years or so.
2 to 3 years at least.
Yeah, I remember the game. It was at the Game Awards. They unveiled it, right?
Yeah, it was a cool unveiling. People were hyped for it.
I think it was 2020, wasn't it? It's been a while.
Yeah, more than 3 years at least. So at the end of this year, they're going to do it at the end of this year at the Game Awards again 4 years later. At that point, you got to be ready with a release date. I feel like
I need Perfect Dark.
I need to see Mass Effect at the Game Awards this year. It's been forever since that game they announced it.
Well, here's the thing: they said they got to get Dragon Age done first.
Yeah, I know. Gosh.
Sorry, Mass Effect. I feel like Mass Effect is I don't even want to say it out loud. I think that game's like 2027, dude.
That's terrible.
I'm sorry.
That's so bad. 10 years from the last Mass Effect game, Andromeda.
Oh, that was oh man, that is rough.
10 years, dude.
Well, I think this is going to be a good show for Microsoft, but people looked at the hearts that Sarah Bond put up, and that was a whole conversation because one of them was blue, and it's like Call of Duty is on PlayStation. I don't.
Yeah, come on.
So, if people hadn't figured this out, the card that they showed redacted is actually Call of Duty. I know.
Yes. No.
It's like the ending to Scooby-Doo where they pull the mask off. Yes,
you're kidding.
So they are going to have Call of Duty aligned with Microsoft for this show, and the word is it's going to be in the Gulf War. That's the idea. I don't know if it's going to be Call of Duty Gulf War or something like that, the title, but that's the setting for it. So
all right. How bad is it going to be if it's not day one on Game Pass? How much hate are they going to get for it?
Oh, dude, that's gonna be tough to explain it.
I'm gonna set my whole audience after him. I will.
Isn't that already known though?
Is it?
Well, I would assume. Well, I don't know. Would they be able to? What do you call it? Back out like. I mean, there was an agreement they had with Activision, so
yeah.
Would they be able to amend that? I guess is what I'm trying to get at here.
I don't know. Like, I guess that's the $1 million question. If they are indeed going to give it to us on Game Pass day one, and I think you're right, Ryan. That there is an existing kind of thing in place at least for this year. But on the flip side, didn't they acquire Activision Blizzard to get these games on Game Pass first, so people could buy Game Pass subscriptions?
You know what though? And this was before Microsoft was like full blown, like I did this sort of U-turn, but like they still signed a 10-year agreement directly with Sony.
They did.
I would have to assume Sony wanted that upheld. So maybe they can't amend it. So even though the original, let's say, because this would be the last Call of Duty, right, that Sony would have had before Activision renegotiates if they weren't acquired. So I'm going to guess that it's still going to be upheld.
Okay. So you think there's a chance that this new Call of Duty won't be in Game Pass? You think it'll just be maybe next year's 2025 where they'd get it into Game Pass like the next one?
I mean, I don't think Sony would have fought for that 10-year agreement and not also have that in the paperwork. Basically, like we want to live out the remainder of the existing agreement, so it can't be amended.
I almost wonder if the way you could kind of get around that MVG is, I don't know if you can explain it like, hey, it's Sony's fault, but you could just say, hey, we're Call of Duty's coming out this year. We can't get into Game Pass yet. Maybe next year they can, or something. There's a timetable or something for it. But every other Call of Duty game up to this point is in Game Pass now. Tomorrow.
That should be fair game, I would assume.
There's like all these Call of Duties are going in there. Go ahead and play those, because we saw what happened when Black Ops 2 went backwards compatible, or like Black Ops 1. It spiked their overall player count for that.
It spiked for like 4 days, John, and then people stopped playing. We played it for like a couple of nights.
We did.
Like, this is awesome, and then we went back to Warzone, like we always.
Everybody just plays everyone just plays Warzone anyway. Like, so for example, this new Call of Duty. Oh yeah, for the new Call of Duty. Let's say they just have, obviously Warzone is free to play, and they just have benefits. If you're a Game Pass member, you get these, I don't know, what are they, camos or skins? I don't know, whatever they unlock in those games, that kind of thing. I don't even really pay attention to it as much, but they got benefits to it. Or what if the new one doesn't even have a campaign? We assume it does, but we've also seen them not do campaigns. So I don't know. That is a good question though. But I feel like their backwards compatibility team is back, so they can do some of that stuff and get things in the Game Pass and like dip into their library a bit more. But Call of Duty's closing the thing out. That's going to be big for them. They'll put the Xbox logo all over it, I'm sure. So my question, though, comes down to the other stuff. Gears, Perfect Dark, Fable, a new Forza, maybe Horizon. I think that's due up next. And they said third parties. I wouldn't mind seeing. Just kind of add it, just throwing it in there, just for fun. I wouldn't mind seeing them just make a reference to Splinter Cell, the remake, because Ubisoft Forward is the next day. It's June 10th. And it's like, tune into Ubisoft tomorrow to find out more. Let's get this Splinter Cell. Let's get the Splinter Cell train rolling now. I think it's time. But it's hard to say with the third party stuff. Silksong, sure. Anything else I'm missing that would be fun to see come back? Or well, they also have to give release dates. I'm sorry. Avowed, Indiana Jones, those need release dates.
Yep.
Psychonauts
Flight Simulator 2024.
4, right? Was it before?
Flight Simulator 2024. Yeah. So,
is there a new Forza coming out this year?
That was kind of the rumor word. I mean, they're sort of due up for the next Horizon, but when they did that last time, they spent a good chunk showing the thing off. So, I don't know. I feel like the focus right now is on Call of Duty. So, maybe. Or maybe it's next year they'll have it come out. They get some more time with the engine and stuff. So, I don't know, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be at least an interesting showcase to see how things turn out with Game Pass and backwards compatibility and some of these titles that have kind of gone missing for a bit. Everwild, State of Decay 3.
Did you mention Indiana Jones?
Yes, we should get
that's something that I'm really hyped about.
Rumored to be coming out this December.
Yeah, I'm cool with first person.
First person, third person? Somewhere in there. Yeah, so it's rumored. The rumors right now, Avowed November.
You're not going to play Metroid Prime 4, Josie, when it comes out? Maybe first person.
Pretty much. No.
What's the difference?
I just feel like it's a little sickening to be like hitting a whip in the first person, you know? I feel like that's
Indiana Jones gonna be 60 frames. Though.
It's gonna freak me out. It's gonna
freak you out with like throwing them. Hey, they had that on the original Xbox.
You get whiplash.
Turned out like something.
I'm a little nervous for it, I'll be honest, but I am excited for it.
I think it's gonna be an interesting second half of the year for Microsoft, and I got to see Gears. Apparently, Gears is gonna like blow people away. The word is this game looks incredible, like in terms of visuals. So, Coalition about to come back in a big way. So,
what about South of Midnight?
I kind of forgot about that game.
What about Replaced?
Replaced. Hey, that's a good one too.
I've been waiting on that for years.
There's a lot of stuff that's kind of just sitting out there right now that they could put in this show and it would be good. So,
isn't there like a
they'll announce Helldivers 2 there?
Isn't like a BioShock Infinite looking type of game? What was it, Clock Tower or something? Or
the Clockwork something, the new game by Ken Levine. Is that
Clockwork?
No,
Clockwork Revolution.
That's Judas.
That's Judas.
Yeah.
Judas
yeah.
Clockwork Revolution.
Clockwork Revolution. You're right.
But it looks like BioShock Infinite though. Clockwork.
It does.
It does look like BioShock Infinite. So
it does. So
I feel like all
they have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of those games blend together though.
I mean, when they showed Clockwork Revolution, I immediately thought of BioShock Infinite. So that one definitely did kind of blend in a bit.
I like BioShock Infinite though. I'm not a big fan of the BioShock series. I played all of them, but I actually just like really like BioShock Infinite. So I'm interested in that game.
People either to me, still the first one is my favorite one, but Infinite is a close second for me. I liked Infinite, so I'm interested to see what they come up with here. But I think it should be a good show. I think it might end up being a 2-hour show, and then there's also probably like 30 minutes of Call of Duty afterwards. They're just going to play it most likely for a bit and just talk about it. So,
when did Halo Infinite come out?
Halo Infinite came out the following year after the Xbox Series came out.
It was 2021.
No, John, it got delayed. Wasn't it?
Because they released the multiplayer. Remember, they just dropped that. And then the campaign came out later. So that was a whole
20.
thing.
I think you're right. It was
2021, I think. Yeah. Yep, December 8th, 2021. Okay, yeah. I was just wondering if it's too soon for another, which it seems like it is.
Well, they're working on a new Halo game now. I'll tell you that. They've been hiring for it, and people are trying to figure out if they're changing Unreal Engine, but there is a new Halo game that's currently in development. So Infinite, I think, is just about done. Like, I think they're working away from it now. So what it will be, I don't know, but hopefully it'll be good. Halo kind of needs a win.
Yeah, Infinite was a little disappointing.
Well, apparently Josie played through Infinite. Now she's going to get online, and we're going to play the multiplayer.
Yes.
Oh, Boomer versus Zoomer. Let's go.
We should. Are you good at it?
I'm all right. I'm better than Mario.
Let's go.
Than Mario Kart.
Let's go. I'm not very good at it, so.
Can I play?
Yeah, Boomers versus Zoomer.
No, you don't want. We don't want John anywhere involved in this match. No, he's gonna. No. John doesn't play fair when we play online.
Maybe I can find like a really crazy Zoom, like somebody's whose like whole TikTok is about Halo or something. They're like
I know some people.
Tiny, yeah.
We can fill up the room. I know some people. Now, Halo's still fun. I tried playing. I played it again. I usually fire it up at least once a week, but last week I was actually playing it a good bit during the days, and that Halo 3 mode's still in there. MVG, it's still a lot of fun. Just saying, people want to get on Halo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay.
I still have it installed, John. So
just me. I haven't installed it for no reason. Just sad.
Hey, we're getting those W's in Warzone right now. We've got a good streak going on.
I did. Won like 3 or 4 games in a row at one point. It was good. It was good. Yep.
Maybe we played that MVG.
There you go. You guys drop in duos. Whoever gets the highest score wins. You guys
no. We're playing small maps 1v1.
Oh my god.
Okay. And then we can play Fortnite 1v1 after that, and then I can.
Done. I've never played Fortnite ever.
I'm
let's
cracked. That's all I play.
Yeah, you're in trouble, MVG. Okay, so we did get the announcement for Starfield. Starfield's getting an update. A lot of this does include some more quality of life updates, which actually does include maps and vehicles for like land vehicles. So that is a lot of what I complained about when I played the game, actually, along with the frame rate. They are now going to be able to achieve 30, 40, or 60, or an uncapped frame rate for VRR displays, variable refresh rate displays. And you kind of pick between which targets you would like to hit. You can prioritize visuals or performance as well. So there are several options you can pick from, but this brought up a lot of questions around some Todd Howard comments around 30 FPS being a creative decision. But I think at the time when he mentioned that they were consistently in the 50s, sometimes it hit 60, but it wasn't completely smooth. To me, after 7 months of post-development for their DLC at the end of the year, this kind of makes sense to me, like that they would eventually get there.
Listen, this is marketing, right? When someone in the industry, developer, whatever, game designer says this is an artistic choice, what they're basically saying is we're capping this at 30 FPS because we couldn't get it running at 60. And to be fair on Todd, it runs at 60 on the PC, right? I mean,
that's true. It does.
So I think his words really are just marketing fluff. When I hear that, same thing with Hellblade, exactly the same thing. It's like cinematic, filmic experience, whatever. Every developer wants their game locked at 60 frames per second. No one's like, oh yeah, let's cap it at 30. It's going to be so much better. No developer in the world will ever want that. I guarantee you. So ultimately, they have to make a choice. And I think basically he just used some very, very nice, fluffy marketing phrase to describe the game.
Well, I mean, this is all going live on the 15th. So 10 days from now. But you know what I noticed in this update, the press release they pushed, they did not talk about the Xbox Series S. I think this is a Series X only thing for the frame rate, which it's interesting. I will say that because we've seen Microsoft attempt as much as possible to keep parity between them in terms of things like frame rate as much as they can, or updates like these. And I don't know, it's a little bit of a departure there for them. After we saw what happened with Baldur's Gate 3, where they had to basically do split screen on one but not the other. I don't know. This one caught me off guard a little bit.
I don't remember watching the DF episode on this, but what does the Series X version run at currently, resolution-wise, and what does the Series S version run at? Is it basically dynamic res 4K and on the dynamic S it's dynamic 10, res 1080,
like 720-900p, something like that? Yeah. For the Series S. So I kind of think we just look at the Series S and it's just not able to do it. It is really all it is. But
isn't that totally expected?
It should be, even though they technically both share the same CPU. So
see, that's what I'm getting at. Like the CPUs, they're very, very similar. They're not identical, but there's only a difference of like a few hundred megahertz in terms of clock speed, from my understanding. I know the memory configurations are different. Obviously, the GPUs are, amount of teraflops and everything. But I'm wondering, maybe they do have at least the uncapped option on the Series S, where it's up to the end user if they want uncapped frame rates. But we'll see.
Yeah, the again, the update isn't for another 10 days, so I'm sure Digital Foundry go back and do some testing of their own on that. But I don't know, it almost felt like the Series S, they just made the decision to kind of leave it out, which we know, or we believe, that the Series S makes up almost half of the Xbox's install size right now. So that was a little surprising to me to see that one. But at least they are going to have the option for the frame rate to be boosted up. Also makes me think that Hellblade 2 will probably have that eventually as well. So just down the road, it won't be as cinematic, but it'll be there. Let me go over to some of those super chats here. Deflated Badger as a member says, do we get Discord access with YouTube membership? I'm actually going to talk to Evan about that, because I have seen people doing memberships on Spawncast as well as on like Game and Talk and stuff, and I feel like we can do that. So I will ask Evan, see how we tie that together. This is from GameCube, who says, what's everyone's gaming food of choice minus pizza? I guess whether that's from the past, like memories of like the old days, or now even.
I hate the idea of eating while I play games. I don't know.
I never do it either. I never do it.
I
don't want to get grubby hands and
then
on my use controller.
Yeah. I drink a lot of Red Bull when I play games. That is I drink though.
Interesting.
Drink Red Bull.
Red Bull. Huh.
It's so good. Watermelon Red Bull, it's my weakness.
What?
It's like all I drink.
Are you doing, Josie, you doing Red Bull vodka?
Occasionally. It's really good.
Watermelon Red Bull. Huh.
Have you ever Jaeger bombed, MVG?
I have.
It slaps. I've just gotten into that recently. It's very good.
I like how Josie just learned stuff from like
I just very recently. It's all brand new. I've never done any of it before.
Wait, hold on. 15 years ago was... No, okay, I'm good. 15 years ago. Yeah, 15 years ago. Definitely not 20. 15 years ago. That's funny. I'm trying to think. I guess I don't eat as much either, do I? No, hold on. No, it depends, because they have like it depends on how messy the snack is. So Doritos will leave like that crust, right? You don't get that on the controller.
This is the scenario. We're all going to John's house. John's got like all the games consoles all set up.
Yep.
He's going to ask us, what do you guys want to eat? That's not pizza.
Whatever you're going to answer is probably wrong, and I would help you out. Go ahead.
I was just going to say this question seems like, what do you eat before gaming? Because who's doing it? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't like that.
The other night we won Warzone while I was eating. We did. I actually got the last kill with with one of those protein Pop-Tart things that I discovered in my mouth while I was trying to eat it.
Oh my God, John. My friends are all about those. The macros on those are supposedly crazy.
Yeah, they're pretty good. It's like 180 calories and like 20 grams protein.
Yeah,
I ate those actually quite a bit.
That's really funny. All my friends are like hooked on those.
Mm-hmm. It's like a chocolate one's really good. But yeah, I actually was eating while we won, and I didn't know it would hurt me when we won, and it definitely sounded like I was eating like halfway through, because it was like the final circle.
ASMR.
Like, oh man, it's closing in. What?
It's ridiculous.
Like ASMR.
Yeah.
I know. I think my headphone was like muted or something, because no one could hear me, I guess. But that was because I'll mute my headphone when I'm eating. I try to be polite.
That's the least you can do if you're eating while.
Yeah, and the mic's like right here.
That's gross.
I'm trying to help. No, you can pull the microphone away. I have like
Yeah, I don't eat while I play games. So
moves away. I don't like doing anything that's like any of the. Back in the day, you'd have like that one friend who would eat Doritos and like play with their controller, and they'd bring their controller over to your house, and it's like, dude, what happened to this thing? Or we'd get trade-ins on controllers at these different stores, and it just jacked up. Like you see like the stuff in the cracks around the controller, and you have to like open it to clean it, and it's like Dorito dust would fall out of it.
Ew.
Yeah, I have friends who like will eat like that, and lately like drink, and then they'll like try to play Mario Kart on the Joy-Cons, and it makes me freak out every time. I can't do it.
I'm so glad. I don't
know. I don't have friends. This is why I don't have friends. Seriously, because
just like that. Eat first. What is going on? Like
you just got to keep the Mad Catz controller handy for him. That's what we do. You know that one friend's coming over. You got the Mad Catz controller for him. That's all it is.
I had that one friend. This dude would eat freaking Baloo would eat everything, bro. Nasty as hell.
You just have the Mad.
That's why we're not friends anymore.
Wow.
Okay. That's it.
Call them out.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, usually it's like those Pop-Tarts or cookies. What else do I eat when we win? Usually when I'm not eating. See, that's the thing. When I'm not eating, we're not winning. I've realized that the other day, MG. Just gotta eat more.
I eat Cheez-Its when I watch reality TV. That's my
Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheez-Its. Reality TV specifically, though.
Yeah, I really only eat food when I watch reality TV, I think.
So you go starving if you're not watching.
No, like to snack. Like I only snack during reality TV. I don't know what it is. The other ones I get too engrossed and I just forget to eat.
Okay, here's a better question. What's the move when you go to the movies? What do you get from the
I'll usually get a popcorn.
There you go. Okay.
I smuggle in a Red Bull. I don't get it.
So in my younger days, I used to smuggle alcohol in all the time, but I don't really do that much anymore. Plus, in Vegas, most cinemas you can buy booze there at the bar anyway. So, but yeah, I just do popcorn and maybe a soda or a water.
Booze makes it sound so much more sinister, like it's illegal.
You get the flask and on the coat.
That's what I used to do.
Like it's like the 1920 prohibition or something.
I mean,
bring the booze. You see, yeah.
Homer.
It was a long time ago, to be fair.
The prohibition.
Yeah, that's a better question. The movie stuff. They have good pretzel and cheese. That's a good one.
Cookie dough bites.
There, see?
Oh, those are good.
Those
are really good.
Those had.
It's from Dom, who says, "Hey guys, have a good show from Liverpool, UK." Thanks, Dom.
Right.
Andy Ackerman says, "I'm going with Team Josie tonight," and they say, "Word, homie."
For sure.
Reg says, as a PC player, I do not understand the Helldivers 2 issue with linking a PSN account. If you want to play Microsoft, Blizzard, Ubisoft games on Steam, you need to link an account. Outrage over nothing.
This is a really good point, and I was thinking about this, but it goes back to what Ryan was saying. If they had done this before at the start, this would never have been an issue. The issue is you're taking something away from customers, which they don't like. No one likes having something removed from them and being inconvenienced this way. So, but it's a very good point.
Yeah, I think you're right, MJ. I think if this was in place when money was exchanging hands at that point, I think then it's like, well, okay, I know what I'm getting into right now. So, Fod says, "Hope all is well, everyone." Tim Allen asks, "Is anyone buying Earth Defense Force 6? I did not know it was coming out."
The last Earth Defense Force I played was on Vita, and I did not enjoy myself.
Okay, there you go. Reg says, "I understand that PSN isn't available everywhere, which needs to change. But other than that, the Helldiver situation is just fake outrage."
It's not fake outrage. It's not fake outrage, but I get what you're trying to say there, Reg.
Prinny Dude says, "If Sony is screwing Arrowhead's game like this, then they don't even own them. I can't imagine they want to be part of the Sony family now." Well, technically Sony doesn't own Arrowhead, as you're mentioning, and I don't necessarily know if Arrowhead wants to be bought. I'm not sure. They seem pretty happy where they are. Well, they did. Now they seem kind of annoyed, but I don't know. They had a good thing going. Very successful game. One that's basically going to mean that they have work for a while. I assume this is or maybe still is a 6 or 7 year project for Sony at this point with Helldivers 2. So Minnesotan Lights says, I can't watch the Wolves game because of BSN, so Spawnwave is next in line. Love the show. MG GM says, "Love seeing Ryan here. Join more often, man." That was from MG.
I missed the 2 weeks, and now I'm not a cast member again.
Stop flaking, Ryan. What are you doing?
Andy says, I heard Ryan would body them both.
Oh,
what's the context there again?
We might have been. We were talking about the Boomer versus Zoomer thing. I don't know.
Oh, I got you both. I got you on
lock. You're like
a
millennial, right?
I'm like a millennial.
So we have to play a Harry Potter game.
Yes, technically myself, Ryan, and OJ are considered millennials.
I'm Gen X.
Okay, JoJo's Gen X.
My mom is Gen X.
Either way, I'd body you both.
I'm technically Gen Z, by the way. Technically
a Zoomer. Technically Zoomer versus Zoomer, but it doesn't have the same ring to it.
Right.
So you guys are living a lie with your show.
Listen, branding. We just talked about how important that is.
There's like rounding. It's like rounding down. You're fine.
Clickbait. It's clickbait.
Clickbait.
Minnesota Light says Rick Ross is playing Kendrick's new diss on repeat at his house party.
Oh, that's awesome.
Brang says Zoomer brain attention span much. JK, but seriously.
Oh, that's when you guys were talking about the math puzzle. Because I saw that come in.
Might have been. I don't know. That math puzzle. I don't even know what was going on there.
No,
hey, man, could you look stuff up like that back in the day?
Did you notice no one in the chat actually typed out the answer to that puzzle?
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying.
I saw a few ask for
like,
the answer.
It was 5,005.
Well, they asked for the answer, but I'm like, even if you got the answer right then and there, you wouldn't know how you got to it anyway. So,
nope. It was the explanation was all kinds of madness. That's all I know. It didn't make any sense. This is from Sasq Woody, who says, any advice for someone who just graduated college? Love the pod. Been listening for 4 years now. Have a great night.
Get a job.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the field. Now I'm thinking about it for like when you graduated. like if it's in something around games, I guess.
That's what
I'm
you're doing.
really sure.
Finish college, get a job.
I mean, that's probably the move. The next move. Network. Okay, there you go. That's probably the next move.
You might have to minimum wage it for a second until you figure out what you want to do. I know a lot of my friends have had to. You got to go into a different job than what you really want for just a little bit.
Do that and network.
Yep.
It's not what you know, it's who you know, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Allen says, I bet Josie could beat me in arm wrestling.
I'm pretty jacked.
Probably, yeah.
I'm pretty shredded.
Let's see. This is from Beast, who says, MG, I asked RGT last week, what is your favorite axe and who are your top 3 guitarists?
Man, this is tough. I really like Fender a lot. So I would say a standard Fender Stratocaster, like a 1970s Strat would be probably my favorite. But I'm also I like Gibson guitars as well. Top 3 guitarists, I would say, and this is very quick, and this probably changes every single week. Jimi Hendrix, number 1. Eddie Van Halen, number 2, and probably Eric Clapton, number 3.
Nastrani says, Steam has now delisted Helldivers 2 from all regions unable to make a PSN account. Check SteamDB's recent changes to the title. That's why I said it seemed like Valve was kind of getting involved with some of this now. I don't know if it's to protect themselves or what, but I don't know. It's looking a little weird right now.
That part's valid. I mean, that part's always been valid. The whole around the whole discussion surrounding it.
Yeah,
we do have to address this part of it.
Chris says, first, much love, OJ. Second, why is anyone surprised that people keep giving into gaming studios? People have been buying broken or unfinished games day one. Brian says, Tomba 2024. Let's go.
You still didn't say it right. You were so close. You're very close.
Tomba.
No.
Tomba
2024. My friends gave me that, like the original one of that too, for the PS1 back in the day.
You still have it? It's worth a bit now.
I do. Downstairs. Yeah. Black label and everything. Looks
Brian,
nice.
do you have it in there in your catalog behind you?
I'm going to get John's, apparently. What do you want for it?
What?
It's been on my radar. What do you want, John?
Really? Is it?
Yeah, I need it.
I'll bring it to too many games with me and buy me a GameCube game or something. I'll trade you for it. It's a
All
fair
right,
value.
you got it.
It's fine.
Yeah, I know. Anything GameCube, that'll even out.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Salazar says, Sea of Thieves on PS5 requires Microsoft account. Nobody complained. The Helldivers situation on PC shows PC gamers are the vegans of gaming. Salazar.
That's like totally kind of true.
That was super funny.
Sotness says, I hit level 150 in Helldivers 2. Legit just now. That is
Hype.
Quite high, actually, in terms of levels.
Congrats.
I like this game. The super sticker. This is from Blue Knight, who says the Spawncast should feature a smash or pass feature one week. The last Game and Talk was hilarious.
So there's some context here. On Game and Talk, on Game and Talk, we did smash or pass Paper Mario characters, and it was like the funniest thing we've done ever. But it was Celia and I kept it very baseline, but Nate and I really dived into like the emotional weight behind their feelings.
We'll call it emotional. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. It was super interesting. If you're interested, check out Game and Talk. It's a really funny episode, actually.
They painted quite the picture.
Well, okay, so little beef here, but another podcast yoinked our debates that I came up with. So I was upset about it. So I was like, we got to do something else. We got to make it funny. So we did.
What podcast was that?
I don't know. It's a recent rebrand, I think they had.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, go check out Game and Talk.
It was a good episode.
It's Alex Game with another superstar. I don't think it shows up here on the screen. It's probably on the YouTube chat. Let's see. Nick says, I saw that Xbox hasn't had an exclusive in 300 days.
Oof.
Starfield?
Yeah, I was
going to say 300 days? It may have been 300 days.
It's been a long time, man. They haven't had anything.
It's been a little while since they had something. Hasn't been that long.
Didn't it come out?
A while.
Didn't it come? Was it October?
I think September. November.
Came out September 6th.
9.
Is that 300 days? I mean, I guess it could be.
Oh, it almost is that. It's close. No, is it? I feel like it's not close. I feel like it's not close. We're still for a couple months. It's close enough. I get what they're saying, though. It's been a little while since Starfield. And then, also there's Forza. That was in there too. I think it's been less than that. I feel like for exclusive.
Not much though. I mean, if you do the math, September is
only 40. It's been half a year. So.
Yeah,
half a year. So I get what you're saying though. It hasn't been a good first half of the year for Microsoft specifically, in terms of their output. But if they had signed third-party deals for exclusives, they probably would have been able to fill in the gaps. That's kind of what Sony's done to start the half of the year. So I think both companies will probably have more for the second half of the year. Break says, from the dev side, MG, what are your thoughts on the whole Helldiver situation? Steam now removing the game in 170 plus countries and refunding the game.
We kind of talked about it, but I do feel for the devs on this because they really have no choice here. They just basically have to do what they were told that they needed to do before even this project launched on PC. Again, it's just the timing is terrible here, and I think if Sony is to blame, it's really just of the fact that their launcher wasn't ready before they launched this game.
Oh, and the next era says squishy muffins. Thank you. And I do want to. Okay, so I want to go to, I guess, the last topic we have time for, and that is Square Enix. So Square Enix put out what was essentially a warning to investors just to let them know what was about to happen, which is that they are doing a write-down of about $140 million with multiple games that are in development right now being canceled. And the idea is if something's been in development for long enough to accrue an expense of $30 million, there you go. That's part of it. So we're probably looking, most people are speculating there's like 4, potentially even 5 games that have been canceled that we don't know about behind the scenes. I don't think anything's been announced yet was canceled. So like people were worried about Dragon Quest 12. I think you're safe on that one. I think that one's okay. Dragon Quest or 3 HD, that one's probably fine too. But Square Enix is going through a time right now, and we're going to find out more here soon. I think it's not this week, it's the following week. They should put out their full report to investors, but I don't think they're going to show up and talk glowingly for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I don't think that got off to the start they were hoping it would. And even 16, while that did better than Rebirth, I don't think lit the world on fire like they were hoping. So Square says they want to focus more on HD or big budget titles and do fewer games. So if you remember, there's that one quarter, like span of 4 months, they released like 4 or 5 games, right? They had Starfield, they had Elysium, was
Harvestia one of them?
Yeah, Harvestella.
Harvestella was in there. Star Ocean was in there.
Starfield, Valkyrie, Elysium.
Yep.
All in just like the second half, which was
Tactics Ogre was in there.
Yeah, they just flooded the market, which was
like 5 games in a quarter or so. It was crazy.
What were they doing? You know,
that felt like they were trying to push stuff out the door before. Almost it felt like before the next CEO came in, kind of. Like these are all projects that were greenlit under the current one, and they were just like, let's get these out for the holiday season, and then we find out that okay, new CEO's coming in. Seems like their plan now is to reorganize and focus in more on big projects as opposed to maybe even some of the other 8. Like, I don't know if we'll see another Live Alive from Square for quite a while, something like that.
That was a one-off. I think that was kind of a one-off thing.
That was such a cool game, though.
Yeah, like Live Alive. It was kind of just like, hey, and not only that, but like that was Nintendo's idea to do that. Nintendo pushed for them to do that. I mean, if they didn't, the game would have probably not even came back. Right. If you read the interviews. So
yeah, but like it seems like they want to go for these big spectacle kind of releases now. And my only concern with that is if it doesn't work, man, that's gonna really put some strain on Square Enix, and I don't know if they're in the greatest position right now as it is.
I mean, they've got the IPs that can do well. I mean, Nier has sold very well for them. Obviously, the Marks sells very, very good. Dragon.
Oh,
you can count on, let's say, Final Fantasy 14. You know, is a big revenue driver for them. So they've got the big IPs. They just gotta, reel it in a bit. And then if you're gonna do something smaller, do something like that's a bit more like good and small, like Final Fantasy Tactics. That'd be like a good smaller game to kind of remaster, right? Or something like Star Ocean: The Second Story R. That's a good Star Ocean game. They remastered that's doing okay. So I think doing things like that, plus like the big games, getting Kingdom Hearts and those bigger titles out, Dragon Quest out, I think they'll be okay.
I also don't think. Go ahead, Brian. I would say I also don't think Final Fantasy IX remake. I don't think that got canceled either. I think that's still going. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay. Yeah,
maybe safer bets. It just seems like the company doesn't want to make these little bets anymore. Like, how much money did these 5 games make, if anything at all? And if they do make money, it's just their entire bottom line is just can't see it being a meaningful push.
I will tell you, Starfield, when that came out, and I had played through it, and I posted that image up. Remember, Ryan? It's where I was missing like a single trophy for the platinum.
Yes.
Still like that, by the way. Still like that. Might do an updated picture. We'll see. People asked me what game it was, and I mentioned Starfield, and they were just like,
"Oh, people didn't know what it was."
What's that? That's all it was. Is like, oh wow, okay. So they did not market that one. I don't think that made them any money. Like, I'd be shocked if they broke even on that thing. But even like Star Ocean, man, that game had quality issues. That is not a game you'd want to represent your company with. Like the newer one, the Divine Force, or whatever. That is not one they're talking about these high quality releases. That is not one that I would put out in front of people consistently and be like, look how great we are making these games. I know it's like Tri-Ace, but still, it's like
it's crazy though, because it's been pretty mid for like a decade now. Like since Star Ocean 2 on the PS2, or sorry, Star Ocean 3. Star Ocean 4 was mid. Star Ocean 5 was bad. So then it's like they haven't improved considerably. Right. I mean, yes, Star Ocean 6 is better than 5, but it's still about maybe as good as Star Ocean 4. And then Star Ocean 2 comes out, and that one's incredible. So it's like, oh, like what's going on here? Like, why aren't we making the game better despite having better technology and all that? This PS1 game is better than the last 3 new games. So, and way cheaper to make. So that's a problem.
My thing though is if this is their strategy, as they've kind of alluded to and mentioned, does that mean that they're just going to go full in on Final Fantasy and like Star Ocean? Not really a franchise that's going to fit into those plans. It's kind of not going to put a lot of money into it. It's going to go on the back burner for a while, because then I kind of see Square as falling into this kind of this trend we see now where it's a lot of safe bets across the industry, sequels, or not really a big push as much for new intellectual properties. Like, I think one of the reasons, obviously, outside of all the controversy, Stellar Blade and stuff, is the fact that it is a unique or new IP. It's like, okay, wow, this is
you said safe bets on Final Fantasy, but Final Fantasy is not a safe bet anymore. Haven't we seen that?
I think the reason it's a safe bet for them is because Sony is fronting so much of the bill, and like they're like, oh well, hey, we're good. We've more than broken even before the game even releases. But you're right, MVG. Going forward, I don't know where Final Fantasy stands with current gamers right now. I'm not sure.
Well, I was going to argue that it's a safe name in theory, but they're actually making bets with the franchise. 16 is a really different kind of Final Fantasy. And then 7 Rebirth is, there's a lot of conversation about what they're attempting to do with that game. So in a weird way, it's like they are, I would argue they're making bets, but they're just not paying off. Like Forspoken was a pretty expensive game to make too. That's a new IP. New IP is always risky.
I didn't hate that game, by the way. I thought Forspoken was fine.
Well, they're just not landing though. I'd argue they are trying, but just not hitting.
Maybe they could do a new Quiet Man.
What? Get us out.
I played through that game, by the way, and it was quite a sad experience. It's like 3 hours long. It's pretty quick. But that's my thing is, what's Final Fantasy 17 going to look like? Are they going to? They said that they were able to bring in a younger audience with 16. That was their thing. Like, they were able to do it. More action, maybe. How are they going to deal with Final Fantasy, the third one in the trilogy, for 7? Because Rebirth is down from Remake. Is the next one going to be down from Rebirth? And it's like, do we just get this thing out now and then move on? I don't know. It's a weird next 5 years, I feel like, for Square Enix.
You got to figure by the time they get to the third entry, the sort of balance sheet for that entire trilogy's, paying out more and more by the time they get to the third one. Now they're reusing so much assets, which makes sense considering what the game is. It's got to get a little bit more affordable to close it out.
I think they're trying to get this next one out by the end of 2026, beginning of 2027.
The producers said, like, we've got this. Well, they say, like, oh, we've got the story completed. We're going to be doing voice lines next, and a bulk of the work is already done because we've built these towns, and so I would imagine they'll probably wrap up the third part sooner than people think.
I think they're going to end up making money on the trilogy for 7 pretty well, because I think they're going to release this thing over and over and over again. They're going to do I bet you they want to do a box set for it. They'll do a PS6 version. There'll be PC versions in place. Maybe when they get it all done and like the contracts are kind of up with Sony, they can put it on whatever Microsoft is wheeling out there in terms of their system. Maybe they get it on Nintendo system that, like, way down the lines. I feel like this is going to keep appearing, and they'll just by sheer time, they'll be able to make good money on it. But I don't know, 7, you feel like it would have had a major impact. And I didn't feel that with, definitely not with Rebirth. Maybe a little bit with Remake, but
Remake I felt a bit more, but I don't know, Rebirth. I can't believe I dropped the game already. That's the crazy thing. I love FF7, but Stellar Blade came out, and I was kind of like more excited to play that.
I can totally see why you dropped the game, OJ. Honestly,
yeah. I played the Fort Condor mini game, and like I was telling my chat, like I rage quit the mini game. I'm gonna go back and do it. I'll beat it, but like I rage quit that stupid mini game. And I don't know, like I think it's good, but I guess I'm old. I'm an old guy, and I like the old Final Fantasy, and I don't know if splitting this game, like we talked about this before, we don't need to rehash it, but splitting the game into 3 parts and across multiple generations, and just I don't know. I think maybe looking back, this wasn't the best for what I would like, but I get it for other people that like action, like super action RPG for Final Fantasy, but I don't know. I've always felt like the older Final Fantasies are kind of like better, like Final Fantasy 9 and Final Fantasy 6 are like really good, and those are turn-based. But we'll see what they do next. I'll get back to Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth when I'm done with Stellar Blade. I'll get back.
I think I liked Rebirth more than a lot of the people I've talked to about it have, but I can still understand why people burn out a bit on it. I get it. But I've also put I think I'm 96 hours in it right now. So I was doing some of the combat simulators. I was doing New Game Plus with the hard mode. I was going through and doing a lot of that stuff.
That's one of the things that made me kind of on the combat simulators. They're okay, but I rather if I'm gonna fight a Titan, it'd be better if I could just find them out in the open instead of it being I don't know. I don't think I was in love with the whole combat simulator thing. And Chadley's a dumbass. I don't like Chadley. I can't stand that dude.
God, people really hate that guy.
He's really dumb. Then they make a female AI component, and they have stupid conversations back. I'm like, what? What are we doing here?
Ask Sean about Chadley.
Oh gosh, that might actually get him canceled. Let's
I don't understand the Chadley situation. That was just ridiculous. That they didn't think that. I don't know. I refuse to believe they thought that was cool. There's no way. There had to have been some other story with Chadley,
All I know is in the next game I need ultimate weapons. That's it. I need an ultimate weapon. 16 let me down, 7 Rebirth let me down.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. Let me go through some of these super chats as we finish up here. This is from Break, who says, one more thing. People saying Xbox and Blizzard and Ubisoft make you link their accounts. What's the difference? The difference is cross progression. Abaddon. Oh, what's up, Abaddon? Says,
hey.
What up, Spawncast?
What's up, Abaddon?
What's up, Abaddon?
Here we go. Barang says, latest Game & Talk was one of the best episodes ever. I was laughing so much. I love the fun events you guys do on that podcast. Well, that's Josie and Celia come up with a lot of those things. So,
yes.
Believe it or not, the Smash Pass, that
was entirely Celia and I's idea.
Yep.
Though in that episode we did pin it on the guys entirely, but no, it was us.
Oh man, I just gave away that spot. Okay.
No, it's okay.
No, it's fine. You can throw Sean on the bus wherever you need to. No matter.
We did in the episode quite a bit.
It's very believable, so that makes sense.
Exactly. We were like, really good idea here, Sean, and he was like, no, I didn't do this the whole time.
Corey says, this sounds silly, but can you explain why, even though Switch 2 isn't announced, Nintendo is preparing for the Switch's successor? Thanks. Can you explain why, even though it's announced, Nintendo is preparing? Well, it takes them years to get these things ready, so they're going to keep preparing, and even up until the announcement. I guess. Juicy says, I can't estify gaming one action on timing. Am I reading that right?
I think you said I can't eat.
Oh, I can't eat if I'm gaming one action on timing. Well, depends. Like in Warzone, there is downtime. There is. Okay, there we go. Juice says, MVG, my humble opinion.
Can you do a video on tool-assisted speedruns or normal speedruns? Well, Juicy, there is another Australian guy that does awesome speedrunning videos. His name is Carl Jobst. Check his channel out because he does it way better than I would ever possibly could even imagine. So check out Carl Jobst.
Yeah, you got to check out MVG's video for that Saturn flash card. I think I need to get one of those. That look pretty cool. I do need to figure out video out for my Saturn though, so that's the only thing holding it back. Enigmatic Dream says, I got an idea. Parasite Eve remasters. Listen, Square. I don't know. Kind of feel like Square might be working away from that. Tony says, May the 4th is the day I was born. I'm glad it's the same night as Spawncast. Thank you for the content. You're great. Shout out to Tony Carter. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Tony.
Happy birthday. Are you guys doing anything for Star Wars Day? Or did you do anything?
No.
Lame.
Did you?
I mean, they had like all the Star Wars movies on TV.
Did you, Josie? What did you
Yeah,
do?
you know what? I have a bunch of film friends, so we
What did you do? What did you do? Not your film friends. What did you do?
I know we Star Wars marathoned it, and I'm like not there right now because of this, but
sounds super dull.
Why didn't you just?
it was not that dull, man. We're all 21, so it's a pretty good time.
Well, why don't you just start up Fallen Order? It's a new experience for Star Wars, and you can experience it on May the 4th.
Yeah.
Okay, play a good Star Wars game.
Fallen Order is good. Jedi Survivor is good.
You know, I have like played almost all of Fallen Order. I just haven't beaten it yet.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
You said you were going to tell me when you started playing it.
Oh, my bad. I have more than started playing it. I have like,
gosh,
I think I'm like 2 hours shy of beating it.
Well, here's the best part, Josie. When you beat it, Jedi Survivor is now in Game Pass.
Oh, cool. Okay, that is good news, actually.
And it is significantly better than Fallen Order.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah, it's very good. Very good. Very good. Metro says Square needs Final Fantasy back on Nintendo to win back Japan. I feel like they probably should get that series back on Nintendo's platform, yes.
I don't know if the third one can even remotely run on whatever next console Nintendo's putting out, though, right? Like Rebirth 2, whatever it is.
We don't know yet. We got to see what we're dealing with because there are things we're missing. But I feel like they can make it happen. I feel like they could. Sebastian says, great show as always. Any comments on limited run and 3DO situation? Sean looked into that quite a bit, and I think he did a full video dedicated to it. So I need to see what, because he was still breaking it down further. So I think I'll have updates on that again in another video. But A14 says Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the game I love. If Square had offered me $10 million, just tell them how I do the remake Final Fantasy VII, I'd never ever come closer to what they've achieved. I see myself diving in this game again and again. Huh. I guess they really like Rebirth. Okay. Fair enough.
Vibes.
Fair enough. Anything there? I'll just check Streamlabs to make sure, but let me go around here as we finish up. Let me start with the returning Mystic Ryan. Where can the good people find you?
Thank you very much for having me, John. You can find me at Mystic Ryan on YouTube, covering the world of PlayStation.
Okay, good stuff, good stuff. And we will we'll keep people updated on our PlayStation podcast when we figure out a name for it. So if anyone wants to, I guess, tweet at us with ideas on Twitter for names, make sure you bother Ryan. We'll put his at.
I have a good one.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Soul processing.
Okay. That's a man after my heart.
I'm serious.
Cell processing.
You gotta call it something after some proprietary PlayStation hardware. It doesn't have to be Cell, but something like that.
I would prefer it to have some sort of like nod to something throughout PlayStation history. So
what about like Dual Senses or something?
That's
Dual Senses?
Too new.
Dual Senses. That's a good one. Oh, that's not bad. It's not bad.
I got it.
Okay.
Cross Media Cast.
Cross Media Cast.
Cross Media, yeah. And we just do that XMD in there. Oh, I like it.
This man's spitting.
You guys
right now.
You should write down all of them and take a vote and see which one people
Cross Media Cast. You can play around with the logo where it's like SM Cast or SMC or something. Oh, that's a good one. I don't know what people in the chat think. Cross Media Cast.
Cross Media Cast.
I like that one. That was good.
Ooh,
Josie, where can everyone find you? Oh, wait, MVG, hold on. MVG on the run. Hold on. Oh,
no, someone in the chat said Magic Gate podcast. That's not a bad one.
Magic. I feel like people are going to show up like looking for magic tricks, thinking we're like magicians or something.
Now they're getting like really obscure. I hate how that sounds obscure, but I guess it would be to a large audience.
Cross Media Cast is good though. That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, Josie, where can the good people find you?
You can find me at Josie Woe on YouTube. MVG and I just did another episode of Boomer versus Zoomer, and it's really good. So you should check that out if you haven't already. I'm also on the Game and Talk podcast, which you should check out. Nintendo Focus podcast with RGT85 and Nate and Celia. So yeah, thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Apparently, the last episode was the best one. That's what people are saying.
Good. It was really good.
People are saying that's the word on the street. Apparently here.
No, it's a banger.
Let me go over to OJ. Where can everyone find you, sir?
Yeah, you can find me right here on YouTube, Player Essence. I think I might be streaming tomorrow. So yeah, if you want to come check out the streams, stream pretty much daily, talk about Nintendo and RPG content. Got some cool videos coming up. Buy now before rare Switch games. A lot of updates to Switch game prices, and also top Switch game list videos like best new IPs and best RPGs to play. There's a ton of different games on the Switch over the years. So if you're into all that, check out my channel, Player Essence, and thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
MVG, you're up.
You can find me at youtube.com/Modern Vintage Gamer. Someone in the chat was like, say Dreamcast guy. I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to do that. I have a video coming out next week, maybe on Monday, but I'm kind of a little bit behind on editing, but I'll get there. Check out the latest video I have on the Sega Saturn flash card, the Saru, for those people that are interested in flash cards for the Saturn. And thanks for having me on.
How much was that flash card?
I paid $72 shipped. I think it was like 60 something. And then they had some shipping on it.
That's pretty good. Okay. I might have to make the move. I might have to. Cyborg says, should I sell my Switch OLED for a Steam Deck? I love the OLED screen a lot, but would love the better library of Steam. Can't afford Steam OLED. It depends, I guess, just on the library. I mean, the Steam OLED is very nice. I will say that. I do like it quite a bit. But I think that's going to do it here for the Spawncast. I think I got everything there. Let me just double check Streamlabs. Okay, there's for Adam. This is over on Streamlabs one here. Says this question is for the whole panel, with the first models of PS3 being fully backwards compatible with PS1 and PS2. Does anyone think the Xbox Series X will be just as desirable in 10 to 15 years? Thoughts and keep up the great work.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The original PlayStation 3 is one of the best consoles ever made because it's
not one of the best. It is the best.
All right, fine.
Name a console that has that much native play.
It's pretty good.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah, it's like lightning in a bottle. I don't think
I'm going to say the Wii U.
Nope.
Wii U is very good. I think about the Wii U as well because it can do GameCube, Wii U,
DS,
Game Boy Advance.
Got the touchscreen.
You got to mod it to do that.
You do though.
Well, okay, that's true.
But yeah, the Series X, no, come on.
I love how dismissive it is. No.
Dude, there's a new system coming out without a disk drive, so that already tells you where Xbox is heading.
Well,
it's not native play either. You're pulling a download if it's backwards compatible.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. We'll be back next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll see you guys then.